Webcast Media Podcast Network.
¿Cómo estamos, mi gente? Welcome to another edition of Lucha con Macho. Y estamos aquí para hablar lucha libre. Guys, this is Lucha Talk 3, and we have a little bit to go over on the show today. See, guys, the Royal Rumble happened this weekend, and dang, was it a banger or wasn't it? I mean, the women's Royal Rumble match absolutely stole the show. It was one of the most exceptional performances by 30 women that I have seen since the inception of the actual event. I mean, the Women's Royal Rumble has consistently stolen the show from the men. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Royal Rumble itself, I consider it a 9 out of 10 show. I mean, that's how many empanadas that I would eat. Me lo como todo. Because I really, really enjoyed the show. I mean, from top to bottom, we're starting off with the Women's Royal Rumble, and we start off with Io Sky and Liv Morgan 1 and 2, and they just completely tear the house down. And then the Iron Woman of the Royal Rumble, Roxanne Perez, comes in and steals the show. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves, guys. When was the last time we had a NXT talent come directly into the WWE main roster and make that much of an impact right away? Maybe the Shield, but they weren't really the star. They weren't really the focus. Roxanne Perez came in and she looked like she belonged. Immediately just belonged with the rest of the women on the roster. We also have to talk about the fact that there were so many call-ups for this event. We had Lash, Legend. We had Julia. We also had Jordynne Grace. I mean, wow. Just the way these women performed. I think the biggest surprise, because we kind of knew that Julia would be in the show because I believe that the NXT Women's Champion is always in the Royal Rumble. But the one person that we did not expect in the Women's Royal Rumble was Stephanie Vacour. She blew my mind when she came in. And you want to know what made it even more interesting, guys? Was the fact that we can no longer use that narrative that the WWE universe, that the casuals don't know a wrestler. Because immediately upon entering, immediately upon her stepping onto that platform, the crowd knew exactly who she was. They responded in kind and treated her with so much respect. Charlotte Flair, of course, comes out and wins the event. I mean, just brutal. And I got to be honest with you guys. I was happy. I was happy that Charlotte Flair won. Why was I happy that Charlotte Flair won? Well, really because I don't think that we can go off of a newbie champion, a newbie winner. Now, I've said this before and I will state it again. To win the Royal Rumble, I think this is WWE's criteria of it. I believe that from now on, you either have to be a former champion, an established star, or a former Rumble winner. And I don't think that they would ever put anyone else over. And we see that at the end of the event. It's an already established star. Now, I love the way that Nia Jax was presented. I love the spot with Jordynne Grace and Piper Niven. I think that if you want more of a breakdown, please follow my TikTok page. I definitely broke down the matches themselves. I was a little under the weather, so I didn't do a lot of visual stuff. It was mostly just voiceover work. But guys, dang, this Royal Rumble match was better than the rest of them. Even having Trish Stratus out there and just, I think the biggest key moment to talk about in the Women's Royal Rumble was the return of the goddess herself, Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks' arch nemesis. And I say that in kind because, Sasha just made a video in which she hates that people call her Sasha. That's so weird. Never seen Zack Ryder be that angry about it. Never seen Sable be that way about it. Her name's Rena. It's just odd. Odd behavior, I think. But we have to respect her wishes. Everything she's saying is valid. And if she doesn't want us to call her Sasha, then we will call her Mercedes. I mean, let's respect her. She's a human being, right? I think that the second match of the evening, the 2 out of 3 falls match, started off with a bang. The merry-go-round spot with the 4 men was exceptional. And then I think I jinxed the match by stating that I believe that Johnny Wrestling was going to show out, because he definitely did not. He definitely did not show out. He actually looked pretty bad. I mean, the match itself was slow. It was definitely not produced well, or maybe it was produced well, but they didn't provide what we needed in the match. I don't know. It was a lot to talk about, but once again, we're not here to break down every single match. We're just here to touch on the little tidbits. Cody versus Kevin, I felt was an AEW style match in WWE. I did not feel that this was a grudge. I did not feel that these guys hated each other. And that's my biggest issue with these grudge matches, which is why I'm so worried about Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Because when we have a grudge match, I want to feel that these guys absolutely loathe each other. We don't feel that, guys. I didn't feel that with Kevin and Cody. Not at all. As a matter of fact, I felt like they were just out there trying to one-up each other. I mean, Cody's been fine as a champion, but hearing after the fact that WWE had high praise for Kevin Owens after this, and they still had him take the loss when they could have put the title on him, I don't think Cody needs the title. I actually think that he's better off without the title. He's better for WWE as a non-champion, because he's really, really a middle-of-the-road champion. This title reign, I hate to say it, but it is Jack Swagger level bad. It truly is. Like, there's no memory. I was looking through their YouTube page, right? I was looking for Cody Rhodes content before I came on here today. And do you know that there are no, big Cody promos on there? Not since he's won the title. There's no big Cody Rhodes matches on there. There's multiple videos of certain wrestlers, different spots. There's a lot of Tiffany Stratton videos, when they shouted out her Tiffy time in her first Elimination Chamber. There's a lot of moments like that. Us praising, doing the yeet and all that stuff. But there's not a lot of Cody stuff like that. And I wonder why. It feels like this run has been so unmemorable. Just something about it rubs me the wrong way, and it doesn't feel like a good run. I mean, if you're going to be the WWE Undisputed Champion, you would think that you would be the biggest traffic getter for views on the YouTube channel. That you wouldn't be the quarterback of a television show in which they're losing such percentage in numbers that it's getting beat by AEW. I mean, that's what's happening while Cody is the champion. But we'll touch on that in a little bit. I want to finish off this show here while talking about the Royal Rumble. The men's Royal Rumble, I thought, was produced really, really well. Roman Reigns did a great job of putting over Penta. He did an exceptional job of making Braun Breaker look good. And as a matter of fact, if you go back to the 2014 Royal Rumble, The same exact spot for the inevitable winner happened. Roman Reigns hits the spear on Batista, who's known for the spear as well. And then as he's going to toss Batista over the top rope, it is the veteran savvy to spin him around and use his own momentum to get him out. They did the exact same spot with Braun Breaker this past weekend, and it makes me think, is Braun winning next year's Rumble? Was this their tidbit? Because for Roman to allow Braun Breaker to hit him with a spear when Braun just came out and said that Roman has the best spear in the game, you know what I mean? I think it's definitely one of those special moments we need to pay attention to. Him putting over Braun's spear the way he did, using his veteran savvy to eliminate Braun Breaker, I think it just reminds me so much. And don't forget, when that spot happened with Batista and Roman Reigns, the very next year, Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble. That would be amazing if they're already planning next year's Rumble. That would be a great Easter egg. I love the fact that Punk didn't win. I love the fact that Seth didn't win. I love the fact that Roman didn't win. I love the fact that Drew didn't win. I loved that Jey Uso won the Rumble because it just makes Gunther have something. Gunther had nothing going into WrestleMania at all. We were in a spot in which he was kind of an outlier, and it didn't feel right. It sounds like a little sis is sad. Well, that's weird. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about your sister, man. This guy, Steve Lally, says that his sister's mad or sad that I guess The Rock's not main eventing this year. Well, I'm sorry about that, bud. Yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoyed the Royal Rumble. I thought Jey Uso winning was the right choice. It was a surprise to me. I mean, we asked as wrestling fans for surprises, and we got one. So let's be happy about it. It was just 4.5 years ago when Jey Uso won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and we were happy. We were excited. Main event, Jey Uso got his moment. It was just 4.5 years ago in which Roman Reigns was the Universal Champion, and we were clamoring for Jey Uso to beat him. I mean, guys, we have everything we asked for. It just came a little bit late. That's it. That's not a big deal. Let's enjoy the ride while it happens. I am definitely excited for this Jey Uso going for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think it's a smart decision. Now, let's talk about Monday Night Raw, because Monday Night Raw was a weird show. I want to talk about how Liv Morgan once again just is presented as the main star. Coño. The way she tricked Rhea Ripley was just beautiful. I love the way she attacked Io on her own, knowing that Rhea couldn't mind her business. Rhea comes in for the save, and guess what happens, guys? Just like that, Raquel knocks out Rhea. So now Liv Morgan, and I think that this is how her character is presented, as the smartest woman on the roster. She knew Rhea would come down. She couldn't mind her business. And just like that, Liv Morgan wins the match by disqualification, and she is inserted into the elimination. The first person to win a spot into the Elimination Chamber, all because of Rhea Ripley. And then the promo after with Jackie Redmond was done so well. It was produced so well because Liv Morgan, even though Jackie's kind of like backhanded complimenting her, she's like, "Thank you, Rhea. Thank you so much for helping me win my spot at the Elimination Chamber." And I thought it was awesome. Just a beautiful, beautiful spot. Now, the main event of the evening, which I thought was done really well, was Sami Zayn and CM Punk. Now, I don't want to talk about all of Monday Night Raw, but what I do want to do is talk about the glitches, because we were told that this stuff wouldn't happen. We were told that they had this under control, and the show definitely needed to be fixed. A lot of people went into Tuesday not talking about the actual CM Punk versus Sami Zayn match, and they actually went into Tuesday talking about the glitches. I've seen a lot of videos out there of people streaming the show and actually pointing out the glitches and being like, I mean, the Wyatt family's messing with my TV. Did not play well. Not for only your fourth show. Now, this Raw was better than last week. It was better than the Go Home show. I love the attack with Ludwig Kaiser on Penta after their match, while Pete Dunne has him distracted. I mean, obviously, Sami Zayn and CM Punk just stealing the absolute show. It just looked so good. Seth Rollins just trying very hard to get us to hate him, and I just think he's trying a little bit too hard. I'm not really interested in whatever he's doing right now. Like, I don't really have a feeling about it. I think that's the biggest issue, is that I don't have any feelings about it. I love the fact that Charlotte came out and she was able to sway the crowd as much as they wanted to boo her. I mean, she's been gone for 400 days. 400 and what, 15 days or so. And she came back to, I mean, a lot of fans angry that she's back. It's so odd. I mean, they're just like, we're tired of it. And I spoke with Tyler, and he told me how he thinks that fans are just checked out. They don't want this shit to happen anymore. They don't want her to be there. And that's odd to me. Odd behavior. Just odd behavior. Guys, NXT last night, I did a live stream, and I spoke with a lot of you. Definitely enjoyed my conversation with a bunch of you. We came up with a bunch of theories for what could happen for WrestleMania, which I'll touch about in another video. But what I loved was your interaction with me, that you were able to come on and, talk to me. I offered to some of the people to come on here and have a live discussion on professional wrestling. So that offer's still open. It's still open to anybody. I also brought this up during the show yesterday. NXT is a women's wrestling program with men sprinkled in. That show was phenomenal. We had 3 women's matches with ample time, and then we had the Charlotte Flair, Roxanne Perez, Julia, Cora, and Bayley segment. I mean, wow. Just wow. Before I move on to the last topic of the day, I wanted to talk about one thing I noticed on NXT last night. During my live stream of watching the show, I noticed Grayson Waller in the main event, and boy, did he look super comfortable. Now, he doesn't look this comfortable on SmackDown, or is that just me? Because a lot of the people in the chat that I was speaking with, they actually said the same thing. He looked so different compared to what he normally looks like on SmackDown. His in-ring work, everything. So either Shawn Michaels allows them to go out there and work more or work better than they do on the main roster, or Grayson Waller's not main roster ready. He's not main roster comfortable, because we haven't seen him work like that at all. Not a single match he's had on the main roster was better than that. And I think that needs to be a conversation we have. That's definitely something that we need to keep an eye on. It was reported today, guys, that SmackDown's lost 39% of viewership in the month of January, and it has been so severe that they actually had a lower viewership than AEW. And I wanted to bring this up because I remember there being an article. Let me tell you the exact date. I have it here for you. The exact date of the article was June 2nd, 2017. And it was 15 superstars responsible for WWE's low ratings. You know what this list doesn't have? Creative. Nope, not at all. I don't know where we've gotten to, where we've lost the plot, but creative's not our problem. We need the wrestlers to connect with us. We can't blame creative. This is something we do when we unconditionally, irrationally love a professional wrestler. In 2017, we were blaming Jinder Mahal, who was WWE champion. We were blaming the big dog Roman Reigns. We were blaming the on-screen versions of Triple H. We were blaming Brock Lesnar. We were blaming Dean Ambrose, John Cena, Naomi, Triple H, Dolph Ziggler. Baron Corbin, Luke Harper. These were all the people that were getting the blame. But here we are in 2025, and we have defenders of Cody Rhodes. He is the quarterback, mi gente. He's the quarterback of the company. It's his fault. Everything starts and ends with Cody. You should be the first person on the pecking order. I'm not saying you're the only person that's to blame. Clearly, this list has 15 people, and it was written in 2017, the last time WWE hit this level of ratings dip. But there are 15 people on this list. So sure, give me 14 other people. But Cody Rhodes is number one on the list. He's the WWE champion. He's the undisputed champion. And he has no memorable moments. You can say that he had 5-star matches with AJ Styles. Sure, I'm going to agree with you. Then why aren't they replayed? We did that stuff all the time. The amount of times that WWE showed us the Matt Riddle and Roman Reigns match from SmackDown during his reign, the amount of times we were brought back to Roman versus AJ, Roman versus Bryan, Roman versus Edge, Roman versus Jay. We've always had this stuff, but they just don't want to do that with Cody? No, there's no conspiracy here. The point is that WWE feels exactly the same way we do. They understand that kids are his major fan base. They understand that middle-aged white men love him because of what he represents America, and that is a big deal. But hardcore wrestling fans, they don't like Cody. He's not someone you can connect with. He's a rich kid. He's a Nepo baby. He's like a rich kid. We didn't hear we heard one poor story about him. That's it. And then Paul Heyman came in and saved the day. I feel like Cody doesn't have that connection with hardcores. And the reason I say this is because AEW fans figured it out really early. They were like, yeah, this dude's boring, bro. Like, it's the same thing. It's repetitive. And there were a lot of defenders at one point for Maxwell Jacob Friedman as well. A lot of people were like, oh, yeah, MJF is just, you don't like him, but he's just so good. Like, a lot of people would say this. And now they've all turned their back on him because it's the same old stuff. It's not updated. He's been running the same shtick. Do you know why Cody Rhodes promos are not on YouTube? Because all he does is shout at people. He's got a promo directly with Carmelo Hayes, right? He's got a promo directly with Carmelo Hayes, and all he does is shout at him. He's got a promo directly with Kevin Owens, too. He just shouts at him. Every time he goes out there to cut a promo, even if the person doesn't cut a great promo, that person eats him alive. And he doesn't respond. And the problem that I have with this is we know Cody can torch all of these guys. We've seen it. We know this is true. It's an absolute certainty that if he wanted to, he can go full Cody Rhodes, Cody Garrett Reynolds Rhodes, and just torch anybody he wanted on the mic. I don't understand the logic behind not updating his character because we've seen people fall out of love with this. And here's the problem. WWE is currently showing us right now that they are willing to update characters as they happen. We're looking at it with Kalani Jordan on NXT. We're looking at it with Braun Breaker and them giving him more of a charismatic side. We know that they see this stuff when it's happening. So why aren't they doing it with Cody? That's my biggest issue. And I don't understand the logic behind blaming the network change from Fox to USA and saying, well, Fox is like on everybody's channel, not everybody has USA. I would understand that if we were going from Fox to, let's say, TNN. But WWE's had a relationship with USA since 1977. During the entire Vince McMahon, 6-part series, the amount of times that USA gets brought up, that is their immediate, network. That's their fallback network. When Spike TV falls through, when TNN falls through, they go right back to USA. So the fans know they're predisposed to go to USA to watch WWE. The fact that the fact that wrestling fans are pretending like, no, it's a network issue. And they moved the show from 2 hours to 3 hours. And, it's like, it's just not logical, guys. It doesn't make any sense to me. You're going to have to explain it. I would love to have a conversation with anybody about this, because it feels like what happens is, instead of just pointing out that, hey, man, yeah, Cody is one of the issues in the business right now. He's one of the issues in the company. And sure, they're selling out packed houses, but we know that that's not all Cody, because he's not on every single show. We know that Rhea sells a lot of merch. We know Rhea's a big deal. And here's another thing that bothers me about this whole Cody Rhodes thing is the lies. Are there separate lists for Cody Rhodes? Because we have guys like Conrad Thompson. I mean, I don't mean to be disrespectful to you. You're like the godfather of this thing. But I just want to say, like, the amount of times he's come out and said that Cody sells so much merch, and he's so much farther ahead than everybody. But then we get these merch lists weekly, and he's not in there. So is he in like a separate list? Is he separate from everybody else? Because he's never in the top 5. So where are these lists that he sells more merch than everybody? Why aren't we getting those lists? That's an odd thing to me. I don't know. It just feels very irrational. It feels almost like, yeah, we just have to defend this guy. And I want to make this perfectly clear, because this is how I see it. This is how I view it. So it's my personal opinion. I know that WWE fans feel responsible for not helping Cody get over back in the 2010s. Because when he was in AEW and he started the company and he started the American Nightmare, there were a lot of wrestling fans, lots of wrestling fans that had conversations with each other that I would have with at live events that were like, man, if only Cody were here. If he ever comes back, man, we're going to treat him with the utmost love. And that's what I feel like is happening, because it's happening to Naomi as well. If you watch the reactions that Naomi gets, she did not get these reactions before she left. There is not a single critique about her. Now, don't get me wrong, Naomi is phenomenal. I don't have anything negative to say about her, but what I'm saying is, when she left, it was almost like WWE fans had decided, oh man, if she ever comes back, we are going to make sure that she feels appreciated by us. And that's what I feel like is happening with Cody. And if that's it, then just be honest. Just say that. But honestly, I feel like Cody could be like 2015 John Cena without the title, and I don't think it would hurt the business at all. Not even in the slightest. At the moment, having the title on him is actually a detriment to the rest of the roster, because he's not a great champion. Sure, he's The Miz if The Miz was WWE champion. That's what he is. We've seen this. He's just, I guess, an updated version of The Miz. The way he represents the company, and that's great. That's awesome. But to me, SmackDown's ratings, I think it falls at his feet, and we need to acknowledge that as wrestling fans. We can't just take him out of the conversation. That's not fair to the rest of the roster. Eddie Guerrero once told us that he would check the house numbers. He would check the ratings numbers when he was the undisputed champion. He felt personally responsible. That's a quarterback. That's how you view yourself. Cody Rhodes should consider it disrespectful that he's the champion of a show and that they haven't fixed it. He should take that on his shoulders and carry the rest of the brand. That's what he signed up for when he said he wanted to be the champion. He said he wanted it all, the good and the bad. So let's actually do the good and the bad. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. I will come on here later this week and give you another Lucha Talk. I appreciate all of you, and hopefully one day we can get Tyler back on the show. But if not, I enjoy talking with you one-on-one. And yeah, guys, follow me, subscribe, share. The best way to get the podcast out is through word of mouth. Before I go, I want to give a special thanks to all of the people that have subscribed. We went in no time. I mean, we hit these lulls where we don't get any followers for a long time, any subscribers, but the TikTok ban has definitely done something. I will say that I know that my brand of talking about professional wrestling is not for everyone, but you guys have made me feel like, you enjoy this. We went from 450 subscribers to 1750, and I could not show you my appreciation more. So thank you so much to each and every one of you. And until next time, que tenga buen día.